Mitigating voltage drop in long electrical runs presents unique challenges. Several strategies can be employed to ensure efficient and reliable power delivery. Firstly, consider increasing the wire size. Using a larger conductor such as 500 mcm or even 750 mcm wire significantly reduces resistance and therefore minimizes voltage drop over long distances. Secondly, using copper conductors is another effective method. Copper has a lower resistance compared to aluminum, which inherently leads to less voltage drop for the same current. Thirdly, parallel conductors can be used. Running multiple smaller wires in parallel effectively increases the overall conductor size, achieving a similar effect to using a single larger wire. This can sometimes be more practical or cost-effective depending on the availability and handling of very large cables. Another method is voltage transformation. A transformer can be installed at the service drop to step up the voltage, for example to 240 volts or even 480 volts. By increasing the voltage, the current required to deliver the same amount of power is reduced. Since voltage drop is directly proportional to the current, this significantly minimizes voltage drop over the long run. Then, install a step-down transformer at the house to convert the higher voltage back down to the usable 120 volts or 240 volts. This ensures that standard appliances and equipment can be powered safely and efficiently. A transformer vault can be used. Burying the transformer in a vault provides protection from the elements and reduces the risk of vandalism or accidental damage. This is particularly important for transformers located outdoors. Burying the electrical line underground is also another consideration. This protects the line from weather-related damage and vegetation interference, improving reliability. It also enhances the aesthetic appeal of the property. A temporary power supply can be used. During the construction phase, a temporary power supply can be used to avoid the immediate need for the long electrical run. This allows for construction activities to proceed without being hampered by voltage drop issues. Then install an electrical submeter. Installing a submeter at the house allows for monitoring of energy usage. This can be particularly useful if the farmhouse is being rented out or used for multiple purposes, as it allows for accurate allocation of electricity costs. Load management techniques can also be implemented. Optimizing energy usage by using energy-efficient appliances and avoiding peak usage times can reduce the overall demand on the electrical system. This in turn reduces the current and minimizes voltage drop. Regarding the addition of a high-voltage line, there are several factors to consider. The cost of adding a high-voltage line can be substantial, especially if it requires the installation of new poles or towers. Furthermore, land easements must be negotiated with landowners to allow for the installation of the line across their property. This can be a complex and time-consuming process. Permitting and approvals must be obtained from local authorities before proceeding with the installation of a high-voltage line. This ensures that the installation complies with all applicable safety and environmental regulations. Based on the information provided, it is highly recommended to consider a voltage transformation solution. This involves installing a transformer at the service drop to step up the voltage and a step-down transformer at the house to reduce the voltage back to usable levels. This approach significantly reduces the required wire size and minimizes voltage drop, resulting in a more cost-effective and reliable electrical system. When selecting a transformer, several factors must be taken into account. Firstly, the kilovolt-ampere rating of the transformer must be sufficient to handle the anticipated load of the house. It is important to consider future expansion and potential increases in energy consumption when determining the appropriate size. Secondly, the voltage ratio of the transformer must be compatible with the available voltage at the service drop and the desired voltage at the house. This ensures that the voltage is stepped up and down correctly. Thirdly, the impedance of the transformer affects the voltage regulation and short-circuit current. A lower impedance generally results in better voltage regulation but also higher short-circuit current. It is important to select a transformer with an appropriate impedance for the application. Furthermore, the efficiency of the transformer affects the amount of energy lost during the transformation process. A higher efficiency transformer will save energy and reduce operating costs. Then, the insulation class of the transformer determines its ability to withstand high temperatures and voltages. It is important to select a transformer with an appropriate insulation class for the operating environment. Then, the enclosure type of the transformer protects it from the elements and physical damage. It is important to select a transformer with an appropriate enclosure type for the installation location. Then, the sound level of the transformer can be a concern in residential areas. It is important to select a transformer with a low sound level to minimize noise pollution. When installing the transformer, several safety precautions must be taken. Firstly, the transformer must be installed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. This ensures that the installation is safe and compliant. Secondly, the transformer must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. This is a critical safety measure. Thirdly, the transformer must be protected from overcurrent and short circuits. This can be achieved by installing fuses or circuit breakers. Then, the transformer must be properly ventilated to prevent overheating. This is particularly important for transformers installed in enclosed spaces. Furthermore, the transformer must be inspected and maintained regularly to ensure proper operation. This includes checking the oil level, connections, and bushings. When selecting conductors, several factors must be considered. Firstly, the ampacity of the conductor must be sufficient to carry the anticipated load current. The National Electrical Code, Section 310.15 provides guidance on conductor ampacity. Secondly, the voltage rating of the conductor must be sufficient for the system voltage. The conductor must be able to withstand the maximum voltage without insulation breakdown. Thirdly, the insulation type of the conductor must be suitable for the operating environment. Different insulation types are designed for different temperature ratings and environmental conditions. Then, the conductor material, either copper or aluminum, affects its resistance and weight. Copper has lower resistance but is heavier and more expensive. Aluminum is lighter and less expensive but has higher resistance. Furthermore, the conductor size, measured in American wire gauge or MCM, affects its ampacity and voltage drop. Larger conductors have higher ampacity and lower voltage drop. Then, the number of conductors in a raceway or cable affects the ampacity directing factors. The National Electrical Code, Section 310.15c provides guidance on ampacity directing factors. When installing conductors, several best practices should be followed. Firstly, the conductor should be properly supported and secured to prevent stress and damage. Secondly, the conductors should be protected from physical damage by installing them in conduit or raceway. Thirdly, the conductors should be properly terminated and spliced using approved connectors. Furthermore, the conductor should be identified and labeled to facilitate future maintenance and troubleshooting. Then, the conductors should be installed in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. When calculating voltage drop, several factors must be considered. Firstly, the length of the conductor affects the voltage drop. Longer conductors have higher voltage drop. Secondly, the current flowing through the conductor affects the voltage drop. Higher current results in higher voltage drop. Thirdly, the resistance of the conductor affects the voltage drop. Higher resistance leads to higher voltage drop. The formula for calculating voltage drop is voltage drop equals current times resistance. The National Electrical Code recommends that voltage drop should not exceed 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. When designing an electrical system for a long run, it is important to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor. They can perform a thorough analysis of the load requirements, voltage drop calculations, and cost considerations to develop an optimal solution. Furthermore, they can ensure that the installation complies with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. In addition to the above considerations, it is important to address grounding and bonding. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety and to prevent electrical shock hazards. The grounding system should be designed and installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code, Article 250. This includes installing a grounding electrode system, grounding conductors, and bonding conductors. The grounding electrode system should be connected to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod, ground plate, or metal water pipe. The grounding conductor should connect the grounding electrode system to the service equipment. The bonding conductor should connect all metal enclosures, raceways, and equipment to the grounding system. This ensures that all metal parts are at the same potential, minimizing the risk of electrical shock. Surge protection is another important consideration. Surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment. Surge protective devices should be installed at the service entrance and at downstream panels to protect against surges. The surge protective devices should be sized and installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code, Article 280. Power quality is also a relevant factor. Poor power quality can cause equipment malfunction and premature failure. Power quality problems include voltage sags, voltage swells, harmonics, and transient voltages. Power quality can be improved by installing power conditioning equipment such as surge protective devices, harmonic filters, and voltage regulators. Regular maintenance and inspection are crucial. An electrical system should be inspected and maintained regularly to ensure proper operation and safety. This includes checking connections, testing circuit breakers, and inspecting wiring for damage. A qualified electrician should perform the maintenance and inspection. Documentation is key. Detailed documentation of the electrical system should be maintained, including drawings, specifications, and maintenance records. This documentation will be helpful for future maintenance and troubleshooting. Future expansion should be considered during the design phase. The electrical system should be designed to accommodate future expansion and increases in load. This can be achieved by installing spare capacity in the service equipment, feeders, and panels. Energy efficiency should be a priority. Energy-efficient appliances and equipment should be used to minimize energy consumption and reduce operating costs. This includes using LED lighting, energy-efficient motors, and programmable thermostats. Renewable energy sources can be integrated. Renewable energy sources such as solar panels and wind turbines can be integrated into the electrical system to reduce reliance on the grid. This can save money on energy costs and reduce environmental impact. Smart grid technologies can be implemented. Smart grid technologies, such as smart meters and demand response systems, can be implemented to improve energy efficiency and grid reliability. These technologies allow for real-time monitoring of energy consumption and enable consumers to respond to price signals. Safety training is important. All personnel who work on or around the electrical system should be properly trained in electrical safety. This includes training on lockout/tagout procedures, personal protective equipment, and safe work practices. Emergency procedures should be established. Emergency procedures should be established to address electrical emergencies, such as fires, shocks, and power outages. These procedures should include instructions on how to safely disconnect power, administer first aid, and contact emergency services. Communication is critical. Effective communication between the electrical engineer, contractor, and owner is essential for a successful project. This includes regular meetings, clear documentation, and timely responses to questions and concerns. Budgeting is important. A realistic budget should be developed for the electrical project, including costs for materials, labor, and permits. Contingency funds should be included to cover unexpected expenses. Scheduling is crucial. A realistic schedule should be developed for the electrical project, including milestones for design, procurement, installation, and testing. The schedule should be coordinated with other construction activities. Risk management should be considered. Potential risks associated with the electrical project should be identified and mitigated. This includes risks related to safety, cost, schedule, and quality. Quality control is important. A quality control program should be implemented to ensure that the electrical installation meets all applicable codes and standards. This includes inspections, testing, and documentation. Commissioning should be performed. The electrical system should be commissioned to verify that it is operating properly and safely. This includes testing all equipment and systems under load conditions. The transformer selection depends on the load. Consider the anticipated load of the farmhouse. Evaluate existing and potential future needs to determine the appropriate kilovolt-ampere rating for the transformer. Select the appropriate voltage ratio. Ensure the transformer's voltage ratio aligns with the service drop voltage and desired voltage at the house, typically 120 volts or 240 volts. Review impedance characteristics. A lower impedance enhances voltage regulation but increases short-circuit current. Select a transformer with an impedance suitable for the specific application. Assess transformer efficiency. Opt for a high-efficiency transformer to minimize energy loss during voltage transformation, thereby reducing operating costs. Consider the insulation class. Choose a transformer with an insulation class that can withstand operating temperatures and voltages effectively. Evaluate the enclosure type. Select an enclosure that shields the transformer from environmental elements and physical damage, especially if located outdoors. Assess sound levels. In residential settings, consider transformers with low sound levels to minimize noise disturbance.